So I'm back for another video today, and I thought to kick things off I would go back a little bit and talk a bit about my pregnancy and labour, delivery and mummy kind of 4 months of how I've been getting on. So pregnancy wise, it was the easiest, best pregnancy ever. I had no morning sickness, no symptoms. I wouldn't have even known I was pregnant till about 20 weeks, but I did. So easy, loved being pregnant, no problems whatsoever. I think I might have got heartburn like once, but no, so far it was absolutely brilliant. And I've got a bad hip and didn't even have problems there. I beg your pardon. And then my delivery, if not too TMI, I kind of thought I was losing my plug when I got a full unique delivery. The woman knocked on the door, ran downstairs. Henry's sat with Cara at the moment. He kind of wants to direct rather than be in front of the camera. So 2 days after I was due, my waters broke, which I wasn't quite sure because apparently it was my hind waters. I didn't know there was two. Apparently there's the front waters which gush, like you see on TV, and the hind waters that trickle. So I went and got checked out, and she said if I don't go into labour before Friday morning, which was 2 days later, I would be induced, because apparently you're not allowed to go 48 hours. So that night I magically went into labour anyway. I woke up about 1:30 in the morning with a bit of period cramps. Nothing too bad, so I stayed in bed till about 3:30, and then these period cramps started getting a bit worse. So I went downstairs and bounced on a ball for an hour, and then I realised that these period cramps were coming every 4 minutes and they lasted about a minute. So I googled at what point should you ring up, and apparently that was the point. So I rang up and she said to carry on at home as long as I could cope, and I said it weren't that bad. So I ran a bath, got in the bath. By this point Matt had already come down and checked me. I told him to go back to bed. So I was in the bath at about 5 o'clock, and 5:20 I must have had about 4 or 5 contractions. So I said to Martin, they're getting bad now, I think we better go in. So I got out, he helped me out the bath, and then I threw up everywhere, which is not like me, I'm not a sicky person, but it got that bad that I started throwing up. And then I must have had about 2 more contractions, got dressed, got halfway in the car, had a contraction, had about 3 more contractions in the car, got out of the car, had another contraction in the car park, had a contraction at the reception. They were like really coming along, but they weren't too bad. Like I said, they were more like period cramps. So then when I got upstairs, this would have been 6 in the morning, so 1:30 it roughly started, but it didn't start getting bad till about 5:20. So 5:20 in the hospital at 6. And then when I went upstairs, she said, you seem to be coping quite well, but we'll give you a bit of gas in there. And then she checked me out and she said, you're 9 centimetres. So I was like, woo, nearly done. So I think time-wise, I have no idea after this point, because that just left the window. But I was just having gas and air, which I found absolutely brilliant. And then it was time to push. I think it took about an hour and a half to push him out. I think my intention was to have a water bath and all of this, but by that point it was way too late, so I was just on my back, pushing him. And it weren't that bad. The problem was I couldn't feel my contractions, because they were like a numbing period pain. So when she was saying, is your contraction finished? I was like, I think so. I didn't know, it was really random. So after about an hour and a half, she's like, do you want to feel for the head? So I felt his head, realised it wasn't as far out as I thought it was, then carried on pushing, and then he kind of just went whoosh and came out. Put him on my chest, and I did the whole cutting the cord. Martin didn't want to do it, but I wanted to cut the cord. To be fair, I wanted to pull him out myself, but they were too quick. But it weren't that bad, really. It was kind of not as bad as I thought it would be. It was quite alright. The placenta coming out was absolutely fine as well. That didn't hurt. It just felt oddly weird. And then he was on my chest, and the little bugger had pooed. Luckily, after he came out, he pooed all over my legs and all over his legs. And then he was on my chest, and it was the most random feeling ever. I was just looking at him as this to say this is not real, but he came out looking completely different to what I thought. He came out with loads of hair like me and Martin, I think, were just in shock for the first hour. And then that was pretty much it. I did get wheeled away for stitches and surgery, but you know, can't really remember that part. And yeah, that was about it. I had to stay in for 2 days though, because my waters broke. They had to test him for strep B, because they'd broken 24 hours before he was born. So I had to stay in 48 hours for him to have antibiotics, which was horrible, because staying in your first night is not that good. But I did do breastfeeding. I managed 5 days, and then I gave up because it is the most horrific pain. I'd rather give birth again than breastfeed again. It was that bad for me. So after 5 days he was on formula, and I've never looked back. But in terms of, I can't think what else to mention about my birth. It was pretty straightforward, not that bad. And then he's been a little angel since. He's slept through from 3 weeks. I think he started sleeping 9 hours at 3 weeks old, and at 6 weeks old he was sleeping 12 hours a night, and he has done ever since. And he only cries when he's hungry, and you can tell now he's just sat watching now. He doesn't really make a noise, and I absolutely love motherhood. And I'm getting a lot of advice from Kyla, believe me, she helps out a lot. This woman is a brilliant mum, and she's been giving me loads of tips and loads of old clothes, like leather jackets and stuff. And yeah, I'm kind of enjoying the maternity leave. So I was thinking of doing videos when I had this baby, but believe me, you got no time. But yeah, that's little Henry, and that's my birth story. And I don't think I've missed anything out. It was 4 months ago, so I kind of half forgot it, but it was pretty straightforward. But people have asked me if I've got any plans for any more children, and they're pretty shocked when I say this time next year I will be pregnant again. I want a close age gap. I kind of want them 2 years apart, because my husband and his brother are 2 years apart, and his other set of brothers are 2 years apart, and they're all like best friends. And yeah, I kind of want them close together, because me and my sister weren't, and I think it was a bit too much of an age gap for us. But yeah, this time next year, my aim is to be pregnant and have a baby roughly when he's 2 years old. And yeah, I think it's probably because he's such a good baby that the next one's going to be an absolute nightmare. But yeah, definitely in 2 years' time. And whether I have 3 is more of a financial thing. Definitely 2. And hopefully within 2 years. But I'm getting old, you see. I'm 30 now. So thought I'd knock them out together, get my body back quicker. As you can see, it ain't happening. I changed my name of my channel so I wasn't just beauty, so I could be a bit more incorporating everything. So would you be interested in extremely boring day in the life of mummy and baby vlogs, or weekly vlogs, anything like that? Or even like monthly updates. So I know he's 4.5 months old already, but as a quick update so far, he was £7.7 when he was born, and he's over 20 pounds now. He is over the 100th percentile for height and about the 99th for weight. He's the size of an 8-month-old pretty much. I have done some monthly updates on my blog if you're interested on him so far, but yeah, if you want anything like that future wise on videos, just let me know and I'll consider it. So that's it for this video, and hopefully I'll see you soon.